So I will begin with the first category of the business we have on the list, which is POS. So this sheet contains about 4 different boxes here. So the first table consists of the date, the serial number, the transactions amount, our charge, POS charge, and profit. So I will be filling one now to illustrate what is this. So under the transaction, for first transaction that we carry out, is it a transfer transaction or a withdrawal transaction? If it is a transfer transaction, I select that. So and it's going to automatically indicate a red color. That means money is going out of the account. So then here we impute the amount we are transferring. How much is it? Is it, let's say, 10,000 naira we are sending out of our account to a customer? So after imputing 10,000, you click on this mark to save. So you can see it automatically put in the naira sign as we are dealing in naira. Then how much are we charging? How much are we charging our customer on the 10,000 naira transaction we made for this person? So if the transaction is 100 naira for transferring 10,000 naira for a customer, then how much will POS charge us for this transaction we made? POS usually charge 20 naira for every transfer transaction you carry out on a POS terminal. So you save. So if you watch this, I have not filled this, but it automatically filled itself. That means we charge our customer 100 naira. The POS we are using to carry out this transaction will charge me, the business owner, 20 naira. So by the time they deduct this 20 naira from 100 naira, it automatically gives us 80 naira, which is the main profit we can call the net profit. So that is how it will record for all the 50 or 40 transactions we have here. So let's make another withdrawal transaction. So a withdrawal transaction, let's say a customer withdraw, let's say a customer withdraw 50,000 naira. So after withdrawing 50,000 naira, how much will be our own charge? Our charge will be 500. And how much will be the POS charge? Usually POS charge 5 naira per 1,000 naira. So and the highest they charge is 100 naira. So the 100 naira and the 50 naira stamp duty charge that usually comes in on that usually be on any amount that exceed 10,000 naira. So that will be 100 naira plus 50 naira. I will put 150 as the POS charge. So and by the time we deduct 150 from the 500 naira we collect from the customer, POS has taken 150. Then it will be left with us with 350 naira. So that is how this table is being designed. So then all the profits you have here for all the transactions you record here will accumulate and give you the total profit, which is 430 naira. So then right down below here is our daily analysis, just to track the amount we are using on a daily basis. How much do we start with? How much do we end with? Is any amount missing, or are we having any additional surplus, or nothing is missing? And then this table helps us to track the changes that we start with and the changes we end with. And let me quickly illustrate that now. So let's say, for instance, the cash I start with from the beginning of the day is 100,000. So and the fund in bank I start with is, let's say, 100,000 as well. So then here, change. Do we have any 5 naira, 10 naira, 200 naira change that we start with? Because in this business, I regard any amount from 200 naira downward is what I regard as change, just to not give us a kind of headache in terms of calculating. So there might be some time you have maybe 100 pieces of 200 or 100 pieces of 50 naira, so it's going to give a headache in calculating. So then I'll come to change that we start with. I want to put the amount we have here. So the amount we have here, I am not the one that will so the amount we have under change here will not be entered just the way we enter this manually. So to enter the amount we have here, this is where you fill. Let's say we have how many pieces of 200 naira notes with us. Do we have, let's say, 5 pieces, and we have, let's say, 2 pieces of 100 naira, 1 pieces of 50 naira, and maybe 50 pieces of 20 naira, and let's say 10 pieces of 10 naira, and let's say 3 or 6 pieces of 5 naira. So this is the total change we have here. As you can see, as I'm imputing the quantity, I'm having the total amount, that is 5 naira times 200 naira times 5, 100 naira times 2. I'm having the totals here. So all of this has been configured automatically, in which I will be showing you in the phase 3 of this training how to build exactly this. This phase, I'm just showing you how they work. So when you come here, you will find the change has been automatically bring itself here. And then here, let's say at the long run, in the middle of the day, there is any additional cash, you add it here. If there's any additional fund in bank, you add it here. And then here we have the total amount we start with. Now let's fill the amount we end with. So the reason why we have this end with is just to find out whether money is missing, or we're having any surplus, or nothing is missing. So let's fill. Let's say at the end of the day, I end up with 20,000 naira cash, and then I end up with, let's say, 120,000 naira fund in bank. And then let's fill for change. Let's fill for change. Change, we have, let's say, 200 pieces of 200 naira, and then we have, let's say, 15 pieces of 100 naira, we have 50 pieces of 50 naira, 10 pieces of 20 naira, 30 pieces of 10 naira, and 1 pieces of, let's say, 2 pieces of 5 naira. So, and now let's check back. The total change we end with is 44,000. So by the time they calculate what you end with, everything is 184,510 naira. Now imagine, let's say that you start with 202,000 and you are ending with 184,000. So this is telling you that this is the amount money is missing, and that is why it is indicating in a red color that money is missing. But now let's assume this 20,000 is 200,000, and let's see whether we'll be having a surplus. Let's see what we'll be having here. So now, as you can see, we started with 202,000, we're ending with 364,000, which means we're having a surplus of 162,000. And now let's say we ended up with the amount we start with. Let's say 100,000, maybe no any transaction being carried out. 100,000 as well. And then here we now have the same numbers of changes we have, same quantities of changes we have. And then here you will find out that we have, okay, 100,000, not 10,000. Here as well, no, back. This one too, 100,000. Now you will see that this is the amount you start with, and this is the amount we end with. It's the same thing, and that is why we are having nothing is missing in blue color. So the interesting part of this is that it will give you the profit. Next, it will tell you the amount you start with, and next it will tell you the amount you end with, and it even make it easy for you to calculate your changes. And then right down below here, it will tell you what exactly is happening at the end of the day. Is anything missing? Is how much surplus are we having, or nothing is missing, or money is even missing? So you find it here. So that is how this tab is being designed. So, and since it is a weekly tab, we have it Monday, Tuesday up until the end of the week, Sunday. So in the next In the next video, I will be explaining what the data tab is all about. See you in the next video.